If you have been to a grocery store lately, you already know that the prices are higher than normal, and some items have a shortage. Many Americans assume that the COVID-19 restrictions would gradually disappear at the end of these shortcomings. But even the Washington Post now admits that deficiencies may get worse in the coming weeks and months. Of course, there will still be plenty of food in the grocery store, but for a while, you may have to do it without your favorite products. You should also support yourself for significantly higher prices for many products that remain available. As WBTV points out, this will be especially true for basic meat staples such as minced meat and chicken. Americans looking to get outside this holiday weekend, maybe fire up the grill, should be prepared to see high prices at grocery stores, especially cookout staples like ground beef and chicken. The meat at the store is a little bit more expensive because of plants that are shutting down and causing a logjam in the food supply chain. COVID-19 harms food distribution systems all over the country, and no one has been more severely affected by meat processing plants. The virus spread like wildfire in such facilities, which resulted in many being forced to shut down for a long time. Meat prices have risen slightly in recent weeks, with less supply and roughly the same demand. In fact, we witnessed the biggest increase in food prices in April in 46 years. Prices Americans paid for eggs, meat, cereal, and milk shot higher in April as people flocked to grocery stores to stock up on food amid government lockdowns designed to slow the spread of COVID-19. The Labor Department reported Tuesday that prices United States consumers paid for groceries jumped 2.6% in April, the largest one-month pop since February 1974. The spike in supermarket prices was broad-based and impacted items from broccoli and ham to oatmeal and tuna. Of course, there have also been whispers that some funny business has been taking place among the meat packing giants, and federal officials are now investigating allegations of price fixing. Federal prosecutors are looking into allegations that the meat packing industry is coordinating or manipulating prices, a person familiar with the investigation told Fox News. The Department of Justice investigation has been going on for months, the source said. Prosecutors are specifically scrutinizing the 4 largest meat packers in the United States, which control more than 80% of the market: JBS, National Beef, Tyson Foods, and Salgill. However, no matter how this investigation takes place, we should expect higher prices to continue, because the industry is currently unable to produce as much meat as many plants are currently closed. And every day we learn more and more infected workers. In fact, 570 workers tested positive for the virus at a single Tyson Foods plant in North Carolina. Meat processing plants across the country are struggling with outbreaks of the coronavirus. That includes the Tyson Foods chicken processing facilities in Wilkes County, NC. More than 2,200 workers were tested at the Wilkesboro plant, and 570 were positive for the coronavirus. With many meat processing plants all over the country already, many farmers currently have no one to sell, which pushed many to the brink of financial destruction. For example, raising chickens on an enormous scale is extremely expensive, but with many plants off, North Carolina farmers are now forced to euthanize 1.5 million chickens. Similar scenarios are being played all over the United States, and this is a tremendous tragedy. Unlike other fields in the world right now, if farmers could get their livestock from their supply chain, we would actually have plenty of meat. Unfortunately, the fear of COVID-19 has dragged the supply chain into chaos, and this seems to continue for a possible future. In fact, the mainstream media warns us that deficiencies may get worse. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has estimated at least 5,000 workers were infected by the end of April, though advocates have suggested there could be more than 17,000. And with plants already slow to respond to outbreaks and some still partially closed, it's likely that shortages may only get worse. The good news is that this pandemic is reduced, and when this happens, the supply chain is likely to start returning to normal again. But if the fear of COVID-19 can cause so much chaos for our food delivery systems, what happens when a much more serious crisis strikes us? When things really start going crazy in this country, essential supplies will disappear very quickly from stores, and the government will not bring baskets of food to your door. In the end, you will be on your own. In the short term, you should expect food prices to continue rising. The federal government borrowed and spent trillions of dollars we did not have during this epidemic, and the Federal Reserve brought the money-making machine to absolutely ridiculous levels. This means that the value of our currency will rapidly decline, and eventually we will see a very painful inflation. I know the food prices are really high right now, but they will just go up here. Think about what you can do when you have this opportunity window, because this opportunity window will not continue indefinitely. Most of the idea, comment, information, and criticism containing in these videos have been created by Daily News Report. Before making any important investment decision, use the information contained in these videos as a starting point for conducting your own research. If you make any investment or legal decision, it is advised to consult an expert before making this decision.